In 2014, the United States spent approximately $10 billion a day, with U.S. citizens engaging in over 50,000 card transactions a minute. But how has the United States gained such unprecedented financial privilege as compared to the rest of the world? Today, I will inform you on how the United States of America has both accrued and sustained its wealth. I've spent several years now tracking and studying global economic trends for both my major in economics and my own personal interest as a father. Without a common understanding of how our financial systems operate, our nation cannot truly be a democracy, because we as individual citizens would be forfeiting our voices during influential global economic decisions. In a moment, I will explain how the United States of America has come to be the most prominent financial figure in the world, and I will do this by emphasizing three major U.S. policy changes that have brought about our modern-day economy: the Bretton Woods Conference of 1944, the death of the gold standard, and finally the 1975 deal with OPEC nations to establish exclusive convertibility from oil to US dollars. The truth is that our modern economy kind of came about at the end of World War II. 44 delegates from 44 different nations across the planet came together and established the International Monetary Fund, which placed the US dollar as the exclusive medium for international exchange. And this system worked for quite a while. It was known as the gold standard. And it worked for quite a while until the United States was experiencing larger expenditures at home and started to accrue large amounts of debt internationally. And when this came about, other nations who were dependent on our economy's survival began to get a little bit concerned. And instead of holding on to their US dollars, they began to ask for their gold back. And in order to halt this process, which was drastically threatening our United States economy, Richard Nixon proposed that US dollars would no longer be convertible to gold. And this kind of brought about the floating economy that we have today, because our money was no longer based on any kind of capital or physical property. A few years later, in order to reinvest the importance of the US dollar internationally, Richard Nixon and his administration went over to Saudi Arabia, and he struck a deal with Saudi Arabia and eventually the rest of the OPEC nations, which provided protection from Israel in exchange. And in exchange, the OPEC nations would require only US dollars when other countries were purchasing oil. And this kind of replaced our gold standard that we used to have and brought about our modern day economy. And it's been widely successful and is known as one of the most brilliant political geographic strategies in modern human history.